whether you're going to win or not, you refuse to lose. So I take that, really, that's my, I wouldn't say it's a motto because there are a lot of them, but it's a refuse to lose because I have to win.
Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, but today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with the one and only AhavaFelicidad. Who is she, you may ask? AhavaFelicidad is the holistic hair healer, owner and founder at AhavaFelicidad Hair and Body. And this, to be very honest with you, this is that was a tongue twister. So this is our take 2 of my intro, but we did it. Welcome to your Take the Doughnut interview.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So glad to have you. And, we have serious questions to get to, but before we get to any of those, I have to ask, what is your favorite donut?
My favorite donut is actually cinnamon sugar, the powdered one, the powdered cinnamon sugar donut. If I were eating donuts, if I eat too many donuts, though, I have to run triple the amount of miles. So
that's fair. But when you are in the mood for a donut, that's the one that you go for.
Yes, totally.
Awesome. Well, I said a little bit about what you do up front, but I know there's so much more to tell. So tell us more about yourself.
Well, where would I even begin? The fact that I'm here to help everyone possible to have better hair days and better hair nights, because I am a wellness practitioner and I started my practice because of a triumph over heart disease. So I'll just jump into that. It's not something I talk about often, but it's a thing that people do know of me, is that I did reverse cardiomyopathy. Reversing this cardiomyopathy, which is an enlargement of the heart, also known as congestive heart failure, if it does not happen due to pregnancy. Because of that, I changed a lot about my diet and my eating, and I've always done hair. So when this happened, I had to take the bull by the horns, and I had to read labels, cut out salt from my diet, find new ways to eat. I started researching products and delved into the holistic wellness, and then also more Ayurvedic practices and aromatherapy, because I had to live a healthier lifestyle. And that led to the basis or foundation of AhavaFelicidad Hair and Body. I'm like, wow, this happened to me. It was unexpected, and I reversed it, which is that's not the story. That's not usually the path. Most people end up developing many other sicknesses or illnesses or diseases once that happens. And mine happened very early on. So I was able to catch it and do something about it. And I wanted to know, well, how can I do hair and help with wellness at the same time from what I learned? So I started to apply everything that I learned from that journey to my hair practice. I got a life coach who said, well, you're really great with this. We're hearing from people that they love the way you do their hair and how you do things very naturally. You're really good at this. Have you ever considered just like 100% being in the hair industry? And I thought about it. And if I think back to undergrad, when I was a freshman at Temple University in Philadelphia, I actually was in a class where we were doing macro media. And in that class, we had to build a website. And on the project, she wanted to do music. And I was like, okay, well, let me do hair. Although I was in a program for broadcasting, I'd always done hair from the age of 12 years old. So my idea was, okay, you put together these salons or these temples, so to speak, that would be in different locations. So that seed was planted back when I was about 19 years old, but I had already been doing hair for people on campus. I would do hair for fashion shows and just anything and everything I could possibly do with hair braiding. The natural started in 2000 when I actually cut out my relaxer. So doing natural chemical free hair then became a thing. And that was a movement that was happening at the time. So the culmination of everything, the history, the longevity, the experience in hair from such a young age, as well as then the application of the things that I learned and continue to learn about wellness being now applied to the hair practice, so that I figured I could help more, mostly women in as the core basis or foundation of my practice, with their own health and wellness. And then also that for them, their children, looking at your self-care, looking at supplements and things that you should be taking, looking at simple things about using lavender or geranium essential oil or clary sage and sweet orange or clove, all the different healing modalities really just took off in the business. And I apply that in a very special way with scalp and hair, so that I choose to do things that are all chemical free. So we call it natural and chemical free. So it's a movement that's like this, but then it's a broad spectrum movement of hair from a natural perspective.
Awesome. Well, given that response, obviously, why would AhavaFelicidad be on a Take the Doughnut interview? Well, I'll just give a little background on that. For those who haven't heard this expression before from me, I'll link a video here. But basically, it references a story from when I was in college, when I left an actual donut on the table, and it became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunity on the table. So now I say take the donut, which for me is my version of carpe diem. What all that means is that this conversation is all about not literally eating donuts, but about what it looks like to go after goals and go after the things that you want in life. So, my first question to you based on that is, how are you with going after goals? What is that process like for you?
I go after them with gusto. I'm that carp diem person. Now, what percentage? Then we're gonna talk. What percentage do I do that? They say like about 85 to like 90% of the time. There are those moments when I have fear, apprehension, but then I think back to what I did, because I had to live. So I had to seize the day and seize times in order to be here to be able to help people. So for me, it's like I'm always going after the goal where this is it. But then when I make that goal, there's another goal to reach. But I'm determined to reach that goal. It's a refuse to lose. Whether you're going to win or not, you refuse to lose. So I take that, really, that's my, I wouldn't say it's a motto because there are a lot of them, but it's a refuse to lose because I have to win.
Well, I
And
was
I
going to
have
ask
to,
you, and you might be answering it here, but I was going to ask what keeps you motivated. Is the refuse to lose motto what keeps you motivated? Is it I don't want to fail, or is it something else?
wow, the what keeps me motivated is more of who, many who's that keep me motivated. So for me, I'll say, oh, self-motivated. I'm not solely self-motivated. I actually do have friends and a support system, a group. A very small, because it's always like this. Mine is really like this, of backers and like people that are right there to say, keep going, we believe in you. So having that makes a difference. Because if it was just me, I am so passionate about freedom and being free to have movement, that I need the other people to help me to focus on staying motivated. Because I could put a bunch of goals in, irons in the fire, which I do have right now still. But then it's like, well, what are these really big ones? And what are the ones that are going to make the most impact for other people? So I'm not just self motivated, I'm motivated by the outside world, where it's like, this person needs me or these people need me. And if I don't do this, someone else is missing out. So my motivation comes from others, because I have to be here to help. Oxygen mask first, which I could do a lot more, but I'm motivated by other people and what they need.
Okay. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Well, often need motivation when we encounter challenges, the goals that we set for ourselves. So have you noticed if there are any particular kinds of challenges that just seem to keep coming up for you? Like no matter what goal you're going after, this is a brand of challenge you always seem to encounter.
Which one do I always seem to encounter? The
Or maybe
breakthrough.
it just gets mixed up all the time. Maybe it's always different for you.
So, wow. I'm letting this one has to sink for a second. It needs to not sink, but I need to absorb it. I'm the anchor, but the challenge that always comes up. The challenge that comes up for me is often that cross the finish line moment. I have to always just really run positivity or run positive thoughts because I'll get right to that marker or that point and then want to pull back. I mean, I do that. I recognize that I do that. And it's like right at that, near that breakthrough time. So that's a challenge is pushing through negative thoughts or self-doubt when you are crossing over the different goals. But I
So
still
when you
haven't given
say
up on the
that,
goal.
do you mean like you get close to the finish line and pull back? Do you mean that in the way of fatigue or self-sabotage or something
Self-sabotage.
else? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting that you're recognizing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one that would usually even acknowledge that. So to
I think that's probably a
acknowledge
common thing
that,
for a lot of other people who are listening. I mean, to have you acknowledge that and say it out loud, there's probably people who are hearing themselves in that response too.
yeah, and it hurts. It can really hurt when you self-sabotage and then you recognize what that is and you're like, well, wait a minute, because I know I can do this. I've seen this before. I've proven wins. I've done amazing things already. But it's like, yeah, that one is it, the self-sabotage. So I just continuously work on that push through and pushing negativity. Like even to get on this podcast, I was writing in every moment that I had to write today. I was writing affirmations. I have 9 pages of affirming different affirmations on 9 pages as I was preparing for this podcast.
It's always fun because I think, with this podcast, I kind of throw down the gauntlet for the person that I'm interviewing, and everybody responds to that differently. And for some people, hopefully for everybody, this is taking the donut today. So that's exciting to hear that you pushed through and that you got to the other side of it and that we're talking right now.
Yeah, and you've inspired me so much and you helped me so much with things in the business. So it was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get on with Melissa. Like, and I'm excited that you have the podcast. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, I don't know how you're going to answer this question, so let's just see how we go with it. Thinking back historically, you can answer personally, you can answer professionally, whatever comes to your mind. What would you say is the biggest donut you've ever taken?
The biggest donut I've ever taken was ShopRite Supermarket to get my products into ShopRite. That's my biggest donut.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge opportunity, and not a lot of people get that.
No, they don't. And I continuously have to check myself on not judging myself when I'm like, there's more. Like I have to do more because products weren't a part of my business plan. They weren't a part of the plan. My clients and customers asked and demanded that. And then I just kept allowing. And then of course working with a life coach with regards to, well, what's the next goal? And that's my biggest donut. So when you say like the first one that comes to mind, that's the biggest one.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations for that, first of all.
Thank you.
Is there a donut in progress right now? Is there something you want to take?
There's a donut. Yes. Yes. Am I supposed to say it?
Well, can you say it? Is it a thing
What's
that
the
you're allowed to
donut I
say?
want to take now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a whole box of donuts right now.
Ooh.
When you ask me, there's a box of donuts. So one donut. Um, The donut that I want to take now is my PhD.
That's huge. That's an awesome one.
Okay, so it's one in the box. It's the one that I can say I will continue to grow the business, of course. But the donut that I want to take is my PhD because it's been on my list of things that I want personally for myself since I was in the first grade.
Hmm.
But it's going to be a time period. I'm still deciding which university will have me grace their online or in person. I need in person, but I have some ideas and I've researched the programs, but that's the donut that I want to take.
So those are, steps that you're taking on the way, but it does sound like that's a donut that is personal and professional all wrapped up in one.
Yes, but it is to help others. It's to help others. The the program that I choose, what I do, it's it is personal, but it's personal, and then the actual subject or content is then for others.
Mhm. Well, that's a perfect segue. So it's time for us to sprinkle some encouragement. Look, there could be people who are listening who have a donut they want to take, and maybe they're not sure how to go about that, or they want some inspiration to start doing it. What would you say to those people?
What would I say to someone who's just starting out? So I thought about this one a lot. The first thing I would say to someone who's just starting out is to have a support system, is to have someone, one, two, maybe three people, but usually just one person that you can really trust that will be honest with you about everything about yourself that you need to work on. So I would suggest that everyone have a life coach or a business coach or a combination thereof, and then also enlist the help of organizations and groups like the way we connected, because that type of support helped me to continue on with things. So you need people that you can trust around you that will, push you and be really honest with you.
I love that answer. And it also really connects back with what keeps you motivated to begin with. It sounds like people are part of your motivation,
Yes.
and they're also part of your support system to keep going. So that's a beautiful way to tie those things together. Well, tell us where we can find you. I know you have a lot of great things happening. So what links should I put in the description for you?
So we post a lot more these days to Facebook than anything. We were on Instagram for a while, but Facebook, AhavaFelicidad, hair and body. So that's the page where you'll see the most content. You can find the products on Amazon under Felicidad underscore hair underscore sugar. You can find us at 4 Midland Avenue in Montclair, New Jersey. And by calling in 973-619-2855 for consultations and to have me do workshops and presentations. I love like large groups where everyone can get all the information in one place. I love one-to-ones, but if I could have 10,000 people in a room getting 20,000, 30,000, getting the information that they need at once, and then being able to also order what I recommend, that's the best. So calling and going on our social media.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to put all of that information in the description. So everybody be sure to check out those resources. And if you liked watching this video, be sure to like and subscribe, because we've got other inspirational interviews still to come. But in the meantime, AhavaFelicidad, thank you so much for having this conversation, for sharing your thoughts about taking the donut, and for helping other people to do the same as well.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, you know what to do. Get inspiration, get donuts.
Donuts.